What's up YouTube? Capital G here. Got a pretty awesome and pretty troll FTK for you guys to check out. It's very seldom that somebody will show me an FTK that I have not yet seen. Anytime I see a new one, I'm always like, okay, I'm down for some FTK action. The more troll it is, obviously, the better. And this one's really interesting because not only is it incredibly troll, but you actually, you give your opponent an 8,500 attack monster and then you kill them with it, which is just, that's the epitome of trolling. Like, you give your opponent a huge powerful monster and then you actually kill them with the monster that you just gave them, and you're the one that powers the monster up as well. Your opponent really doesn't do anything. They just kind of sit there and they die. So it's going to be obviously complicated and a little convoluted. That's, it's kind of like the prerequisites for any FTK in Yu-Gi-Oh. All you really need to do is go first, then you can kind of make a pop off. This is not quite TCG legal because it does involve needle fiber, but once we get Crystal needle fiber, then we'll see where we can go. Anyways, let's see. So Mathman is kind of the card that is the conduit. You're actually going to send a copy of Edgemp Sabers, if that is, Edgemp Sabers to the graveyard. That's because it's a level 3 monster that can summon itself right back from the graveyard. So you go in for Invoker, and actually you're going to summon the 6 Samurai. This is the one that actually can search a card, and you're actually going to need that with Summon Sorceress. Isolde is, just too good of a card at this point. Isolde is pretty important because what it does is it gets your Phoenix Blade in the graveyard. This card is so popular. We haven't seen this much play of this card since like Diamond Dude Turbo back in GX, but you're going to summon your Hero Kid from your deck. When Hero Kid gets summoned, it gets 2 more copies, which obviously goes a long way with Link summoning and whatnot. So 2 more copies come out. And you're going to make Mannequin Cat, then you're going to go Summon Sorceress. Now, Summon Sorceress, remember the monster that we actually just searched, the Shadow of the 6 Samurai. You special summon that card to your opponent's side of the field using your Summon Sorceress, and then Mannequin Cat's effect is going to kick in. Anytime a monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you get to special summon a monster from your deck if it's the same type or the same, attribute. So what that's going to do, you're not going to go for the same type, but you are going to go for the same attribute. That's going to pull a Monk from your deck, and then you're going to activate Summon Sorceress's effect. You're going to pull this White Wing Magician. A lot of people didn't really run this in Pen Magicians, or they just run one. You're going to run it in this deck randomly. You're also going to add your Phoenix Blade back to your hand because you need it to use Summoner Monk's effect. So Summoner Monk's going to pitch, get another Summoner Monk. Then you're just going to add it back to your hand. You're just going to repitch it again. These freaking old school cards, not hard once per turns. And then we had a Rescue Ferret summoned as well. Now this is really nice. Enlightenment Paladin is going to get us a copy of United We Stand, and this is important. United We Stand's big. Now we're just trying to fix our hand using Rescue Ferret to get some random monsters from our decks. Well, Glow Bulb and things like Spore, they're not really random because these are cards that make Crystal Needle Fiber and can summon themselves back from the graveyard. So with this one, you get a Glow Bulb, you get a Synchro Fusionist. This is going to search Instant Fusion, and then you get a Vion Cube. You need these monsters, specifically Link Karibo for the first one, Magical Android, and then you're going to go for the effects of Vion Cube and Synchro Fusionist. This is going to get us our second copy of United We Stand. Some of you guys are lost. You're like, why are we getting United We Stand if we don't get a battle phase in the first turn? Cap, you're so dumb. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't know how to troll right. Just wait. It's going to make sense in a little while. Anyways, Glow Up Ball from the graveyard, go for Crystal Needle Fiber. Crystal Needle Fiber gets a Spore, another monster that can summon itself. You're going to tribute it to get your Link Karibo back, Phoenix Blade back. Now you're going to go for Instant Fusion. You need to get a level 5 monster, so this is just, it's really random. I don't think I've ever seen Metaphos Adamante summoned off of Instant Fusion. I was just like, well, this is definitely a new play. But what that allows you to do is it allows us to get the Wincon. The Wincon is number 33, Chronomally Meku Mech. Never seen this card summon turn 1, but I guess there's a time for everything. So this guy allows us to do our burn damage that we need to kill our opponent, and yeah, it's kind of like a significantly worse version of Volcasaurus because its effect is not practical in any context other than, I guess, this jank FTK. But what this card does is it allows you to do burn damage equivalent to the difference in your opponent's current attack of their monster and the actual original attack of their monster. And it sounds kind of crappy. You're like, wait, what, Cap? When would that ever actually be effective? That just sounds terrible. I mean, it kind of is. It doesn't, like, it's not very practical, but it works obviously exceptionally well during this combo because this guy only has 500 attack, but we're going to crank his attack up into infinity and beyond. Again, in most situations, something like Volcasaurus would actually be better. And this card is actually generic. You only need 2 level 5. So if you didn't want to run the Metaphose Adamante for some reason, you could just switch over to Cybersaurus or any other level 5 monster that you can actually summon for instant fusion. And remember those United We Stands that we got earlier? Well, we're going to activate not 1, but 2. And every time that we activate a United We Stand, even though this is your opponent's monster, the United We Stand works off of our field. That's the troll part of it. So even though, so we have what, 5 monsters on the field, and our opponent is going to gain 4,000 attack for each one, bringing the attack to, after the second copy is resolved, 8,500 attack. Now its attack difference between its original attack and its current attack is 8,000, and that's where the FTK happens. Your opponent is going to burn for 8,000 damage. GG, no re. It's a really stupid FTK. You give your opponent a monster, you crank that attack up by 1 billion life point or by 1 billion attack, and then you use that attack difference to actually just kill your opponent, which it's very trolly. Obviously, you're using a bunch of like random ass cards, but I think that it's actually pretty fun and interesting. Let me pause for a second because I'm pretty sure there are going to be some people that are like, I wonder what this deck actually kind of looks like, and I'll obviously show you guys. Okay, so this might be the biggest bunch of jumbled mess I've ever seen in my entire life, but somehow it occasionally will FTK your opponent. You guys saw in the duel, the main thing you're really just trying to get to is your copy of X-Saber Invoker. That's kind of like the play that gets things started. There are so many level 3 monsters in this deck just because you basically need them to get to that card. You saw a Mathematician be able to do it with Edge Imp Sabers, sending it to the graveyard. I guess it would kind of sucked if you open with Mathematician and your copy of Edge Imp Sabers, but I think that you'd still be able to live. You run things like Gillosaurus, which is actually searchable in this deck with Fossil Dig, if I'm not mistaken, so yeah, that's kind of cool. Gillosaurus is a monster that lets you special summon it by also letting your opponent special summon a monster from their graveyard. Your opponent getting a monster from their graveyard, completely irrelevant if you happen to go like second. Galaxy Worm, another card. When this card is normal summon and you don't have any other monsters, you can special summon another copy of Galaxy Worm from your deck that just, basically get you into Invoker. People used to say during the Zodiac format, like when Zodiac were at full power, that X-Saber Invoker should have been banned. Hey, maybe. You have so many ways. Obviously, Tour Guide, Terratop, Marauding Captain, another level 3 monster. TG Werewolf is just kind of like another guy. And then all of these other cards are just kind of like the combo pieces. Your Hero Kids, your Summoner Monks, all the other random cards like the Synchro Fusionist, the Glow Up Bulbs, the Spore and stuff like that. Those are just kind of one-ofs that you need to pull your combo together and then ultimately just get to your number 33, burn your opponent to death. Some of these spell cards, I am looking at them like I get Designator, or excuse me, Call by the Grave. This is obvious. This is for if your opponent has, I don't know, freaking Ash Blossom for your Mathematician or something random like that. If your opponent has the Effect Veiler for your number 33, just to kind of make sure that, you don't automatically lose to a hand trap. So this I kind of get, but some of the other ones that are kind of like non-essential, like I am looking at this Super Hippo Carnival and I'm like, how does this kind of work in this deck? I mean, the quick resolve I think is just to, summon the auto rocket dragon, which is just, another like level 3, but I think all of them are essentially just to get you level 3 monsters onto the field, and you really can't run any hand traps because it wouldn't really make sense. If you're going second, that just kind of sucks because you're running an FTK deck in general. Anyways, just a troll deck for you guys to, well, basically troll with. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos and make sure you subscribe. And actually, let me add one more thing, because I know people aren't gonna want to hear this. They think I probably have some type of agenda against this card or something like that, but I'm telling you, this just goes to further prove my point that this is just another FTK made possible by Summon Sorcerers. I mean, I get it, Crystron Needle Fiber, obviously, that card's ridiculous too, but I kind of feel like Summon Sorcerers is only used for plays like this, where a card like Crystron Needle Fiber, there are some things that you can do that aren't completely degenerate, especially in some of the synchro decks where their main play play is just to like get the Quasar Dragon. It's not like Quasar Dragon's that bad, but every time you see this chick, I'm telling you, it's always for an FTK or an extra link or something fairly degenerate of that sort. And more people can just come up with these random things because, you know, obviously Yu-Gi-Oh has like a billion burn cards. So for somebody to come up with a combo this random and this intricate that actually works and burns your opponent for 8,000 kind of tells you, even if this is a new card, probably needs to be banned.